welcome back. Welcome if you're new here. We're doing something new. Um, I would like to make an attempt to read this book for different channels so y'all can see it in a different places. But the title of this book is called Journey of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton. It's a case study of lives in between lives. Let me show you guys over here as well. I'm very interested in this book. I had this book in my library for a while. Uh, Dive a little deeper into the case of near-death experiences for people who actually, who people who were actually pronounced dead, and then I guess they came back to life and they were brought back to life, resuscitated, I believe is the word. And I started reading this book maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Um, but the information in this book is extremely heavy. Extremely. And it's good with the camera and the language and the audio and everything. Um, Let me give you guys a little disclaimer. I do stutter really, really badly. I have a speech impediment very, very badly. Not every day is a good day when it comes to speaking. Most days I do struggle with speaking. Um, so me reading um, these books um, live on stream or pre-recorded, because one of these are pre-recorded. You know, it's an attempt to get me out of my comfort zone of stuttering, um, public speaking, or just speaking in general. Because I struggle with that every single day. I hope the audio is loud enough, because I am very soft-spoken. And I may be a little bit groggy too. Excuse my voice. It is what it is. I am a little nervous, and I'm just going to put that out there. Speaking is not my strong area. It's not my strong aspect by no, by no chance. But I struggle with speaking every single day. So I'll be working on it. I'll be working on it. I've been in speech class all my life. Just to give you guys a little backstory. I've been in speech class all my life. I've been studying for as long as I've been speaking. Stuttering is really neurological. It really deals with like the nervous system and the neurons um, misfiring in the brain. Uh, I believe it's the left half of the brain. Yes, left side is spoken and written language, sequence and word sequence and word analysis. So I don't know. I've been in speech all my life, in school, out of school, childhood, adulthood. I've been in speech all my life. I just recently had two speech therapists when I relocated out here in the Midwest. So I struggle with speaking a lot. Um, I guess I'm having a pretty decent speaking day today. I'm just rambling before I really get to reading because I stutter more than I read. So I guess I'm just trying to warm up my vocal cords before I really dive into this book. And then the information in this book is it's some heavy stuff. So it's some heavy stuff. We're going to be talking about death. Okay, so that's what this book is about. I'm very fascinated with the concept of death, um, and my fascination came from my childhood experiences. The trauma that I've been through or that I've experienced or whatever. Uh, I lost my family when I was young. I lost my father when I was 2 years old, 1 year old, 1991. I lost my father. I lost my mother in 1997. I was 7 years old. I lost my grandmother 2000. I lost my grandmother 2002 in a house fire, and then I lost my grandfather 2016, 2017 to a stroke or heart failure. One or the two. So pretty much by 17, I've already buried all of my family, and I'm not too close with my father's side, so they're kind of obsolete in the equation. So by 17, I've already buried both grandparents, both parents. You know what I mean? Uh, so just being scared of death from there, and then being forced to go to funerals and wakes and stuff. Being a child, being a Christian, how that goes. It's like you gotta go to the wake, you gotta go to the funeral, you gotta view the body. You know what I mean? So I grew up with all of that uncomfortableness, and I just really wasn't allowed to ask questions about death or dying or whatever was going on. It was just kind of just, I don't know, not let whatever happen happen, but it was just like, okay, this is happening and you're a part of it, so you have to accept it. Like, there's no room for not accepting it. It's just like, you accept this shit. Like, these people Um, so from there, I was just like, you know, afraid of death, like most people are. Um, but just reading more and learning more about different things and different, you know, let's uncover some other information because whatever information was provided based on the narrative, it may be biased, it may be one-sided, it may be skewed. So everything is a part of everything, and all of that catapulted me into a spiritual journey where I'm just like, "Oh, I don't know about religion, man. It's probably not the best route for you." And before that, I had a family member. She kind of like coached me, like took me through each, what I'm saying, like religion, and like we studied some. Well, we studied all, and we practiced some of them. Um, so I have a broad understanding of, you know, the majority of world's religions. Again, which catapulted me into my spiritual journey, um, which then brought me to the concept of death in different cultures. And I'm just like, well, why here in the West, why do we look at death like this? And why do we view death as like being the end? Or like, why do people get so sad and want to like, be sad when someone dies? Like, I get it, I understand. They won't no longer be here in the physical, but it's like, the soul, the spirit, it lives on. It has to return to somewhere. It has to come. You know what I mean? It has to come back from where it once came, wherever that is, God, source, the creator of the universe, however you identify the creator, Pique, however you identify, you know, this energy, it has to be returned back to somewhere. Um, so once I got into that and started studying different like cultures and different religions and stuff, I'm just like, okay, well maybe what I was taught, or maybe what was taught to me was not, you know, factual. Not saying it wasn't factual, but it was one-sided information. Um, so I just kept studying and kept reading different things surrounding different concepts of, you know, life, human life, existence. Where do people's souls go after, the concept of heaven and hell, and all of that when it comes to different religious texts and everything. And then I stumbled on these books, Dr. Michael Newton. This is another book he wrote, written. in English because I struggle with speaking English every single day, knowing it's not my native tongue, knowing it's not my native language. I've been forced to speak English from a child, as a child. But this book, Memories of the Afterlife, Lives in Between Lives, Stories of Personal Transformation, edited by Michael Newton, the PhD, with case studies by members of the Newton Institute. So let me show you guys Michael Newton. This is the author. I'm gonna try to read his sorry, I don't know if it's gonna focus on this camera over here. Um let's read both of these little bios from this. I was thinking I'm not gonna read out loud, but we're here to read out loud. Let me not avoid reading out loud because I'm worried about stuttering. It's gonna happen. My stuttering, I don't have any control over it. Some days are better than others when it comes to speaking. Some days I can speak somewhat clear, other days I struggle with sounds, syllables, words, phrases, airflow, and like TH, F, FL, or the S, you know. Sometimes the air gets stuck in my lungs or it gets stuck somewhere in my throat, or I have pressure in my lips, or like, or sounds, you know what I mean? So not every day is a good speaking day for me. Not every good day is a speaking day for me. But I'm working on it. That's all I can tell you guys. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Stuttering's not easy. It is. It is a disability that is not really known. I'm not. I'm not gonna say it's not common. It's very common, but it's a disability that gets overlooked. It's a disability that gets overshadowed with other disabilities. Um, and I'm aware of that. And it's also not a lot of accommodations for individuals with speech language disabilities. Um, and I know because obviously I have speech language disabilities. But I'm speaking clear today, so I'm happy. I'm excited. I can't speak this clear every single day. Just yesterday I was in need. Just yesterday I was in need because I asked my children. I was texting everybody in the house. They're in the next room. I'm texting. Screen chat. But let's read about Michael Newton really quick before we get into this book in particular. I want to get into this book first. Journey of Souls. These books are really, really heavy. I really only want to read chapter one, but the introduction may be too heavy even to get to chapter one. Because I had to put this book down. I had to put this book down. This book, it was opening up some something, and I was tapping into something, and I was seeing spirits and stuff like they were trying to communicate and all of that. Before we get into reading Michael Newton's bio here, also I'm an avid lover of the supernatural. I love anything that's supernatural. I love anything paranormal. I love anything that has to do with ghosts, demons, witches, goblins, trolls, anything supernatural, anything paranormal, anything um, mythological, anything esoteric, anything spiritual, anything, what I'm saying, like occult based. I'm a fan of it all. I love it all. I love it all. It makes more sense than humans. Um, so when I said I had to put this book down because it like you know had like spirits and stuff coming through, like I was seeing like ghost apparitions, and I would be seeing like little mist and stuff, and not not really in my house or in my areas, but like when you go to like places that have like, you know, when you go to places that may have residual paranormal activity, or if someone may have uh, died on the property, or died at a location, or died on the scene of a place, that person's spirit or their ghost may still be lingering around that area. They may be trapped. They may be like an earthbound spirit trapped in that location because they refuse to move on, or they refuse to go into the light, or they just don't want to go into the light, or they just, lost. Journey of souls. Okay? Journey of souls. Um, these ghosts, these spirits, they be lingering around. These, you know, these entities. Uh, and sometimes these ghosts, these entities, these spirits, they can become angered. They can become vengeful spirits. Um, and I should have got my other occult book because I know the terminology, but it's like when I go to speak on them, it's like I be getting them mixed up. Um, but a vengeful spirit, an earthbound spirit, uh, is like um, it's a spirit that's been trapped or bound to a certain place, or area, or location, and they can't leave the area, can't leave the location, um, due to whatever stipulation. One of those shows, it was the spirit that was bound to the mansion that the characters were in, or the bunker. Can't remember. Um, but the vengeful spirits, they come from souls or spirits that never cross over, or they can't cross over, or they just be stuck to a certain place or location, um, or they never have the opportunity to cross over. Like, you know what I mean? Uh, I don't know. It's a lot to really sort through. It's a lot to really kind of wrap your mind around. Um, and that's why I was like, man, I really want to kind of like dive deep into this topic. Like, I know other people have, but it's a topic nowadays that gets so overlooked because we're in the age of technology, that age of information. Everybody's attention span is like this big, this big. Even my attention span, it's so shortened these days. You gotta have attention for everything and everybody all at one time, and still have attention for yourself and your kids if you got kids. I'm rambling because I know I have to read, and I know I'm gonna stutter more while reading, so I'm stalling my time out. Stall them out, Debo. I'm stalling right now. Okay, okay. Let me stall. Okay, let me stall. Because once I start reading, that's when the stuttering is really gonna come out. So I gotta warm up my larynx, the voice box. I gotta warm all of that up. It's like 12 degrees up there. It's like 12 degrees right now. Not 12, it's probably like 26, but still. The temperature feels the same. Really quick, before we get into the bio of Dr. Newton, I know I said that like 20 minutes ago. Other books by the author, Destiny of Souls, that's not this book. Memories of the Afterlife, that's this book. Memories of the Afterlife. And Destiny of Souls, that was published, written in 2001. Um, but I had like 5 or 6 other books on the concept of death. So I definitely want to get to all of these books. We're not going to read every book, every page, every word verbatim. Verbatim. I love that word. I learned that word in eighth grade. My eighth grade teacher, I'm not going to say her name, she used that word verbatim every single day. Copy down everything from the word. Copy down everything from the board, verbatim, verbatim. And she would say it just like that, verbatim. Don't miss a word, don't miss a letter. Copy everything down verbatim. That's how I learned that word. So, we're not going to read everything line for line, word for word, page for page. Probably this book we most definitely will, but the other books we will just flip through and get some understanding. But this book is really heavy, and I want to get into it because I have my own experiences to share about my family members that have already passed, that I've already seen alive in the real world somewhere else. And I was like, is that? Looks like my mother, or to see somebody who looks like my father walking around 14 hours from home where I am from, and I moved 14 hours away, and I see these people, these individuals that look like people that have already passed, and something in that snow in these big ass snowflakes. Excuse me, sir. Let's get to it. Um, I've already made a disclaimer about my study, and I'll give you a whole backstory if I can. Not every day is a good speaking day. We're going to try to get through chapter one of Journey of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton. If we can't get to chapter one, we're just going to read the introduction. Leave y'all with that to ponder on, and then we'll try to bounce back another day and get through chapter one. So, Dr. Michael Newton, PhD. Dr. Michael, Michael Newton, PhD, California, has has been ha, has been a consulting psychologist, master hypnotherapist, a teacher for more than 40 years. He is the founder of the Michael Newton Institute for for Life Between Lives Hypnotherapy, which trains which trains hypnother- hypnotherapists in his pioneering technique. He has appeared on the Discovery Channel as well as numerous other television and radio programs. And that was the bio on Journey of Souls. Now let's read the bio on Memories of the Afterlife. And I believe these books are available on Amazon. I'm pretty sure they're available on Amazon. One book I got from the public library a couple years ago. I just I was in it when I checked it out, and I just never returned it. I just never returned it. I mean, I paid the fee for it. It's my book now. I own it because I paid the late fees and all of that. So because I never brought the book back along with the others. Sorry to that library, but I already paid for that. Michael Newton, PhD, was the founder of the Newton Institution for Life Between Lives Hypnotherapy and a pioneer in the practice of hypno-regression. His books, Journey of Souls, Destiny of Souls, and Life Between Lives, have have sold nearly 1 million copies and have been translated into more than 30 but he has different case studies. Like he interviews different patients because he's a hypnotherapist, and I actually would like to be hypnotized. I want to go through hypnotherapy um, because I need to tap into my childhood memories. I need to tap into whatever childhood trauma that I've endured to where I only have maybe three memories before the age of 7 when I lost my mother. So anything before the age of 7 birth up until the age of 7, I have no memories. I have three memories, maybe four. And my mother's maybe only in two of those. My father's in none of them. My grandmother's in maybe one of them. My grandfather's in none of them. So hypnotherapy is definitely something I'm interested in. I'm writing my own autobiography, and I want one of my chapters to be whatever was uncovered in my hypnotherapy session. Obviously, it was some shit that I guess my body response to the trauma was like, we gotta block this shit out. Like, you can't remember this shit ever, ever in life. You can't remember this. So, I don't know what it was. I don't know whatever happened, whatever occurred. I guess the trauma response from my body blocked all of that shit out. It blocked everything out. So, I have a lot of lost memories. I can't even call them lost memories. They don't exist, or they're locked away somewhere. I don't know. Somebody has to unlock my memories. Okay? So, um, all of this and all of that and everything is a part of everything. We're building on everything to tell my story. So all of this is a part of my own journey as well. That's why I'm like, okay, well, let me get into this, let me highlight this, let me talk about this, because everything is a part of everything. When it's time for me to write my book, my autobiography, and tell my story, I'm gonna be pulling from all of these reference points that I was able to make videos on. Then I was able to make videos because every day is not a good speaking day. So I'm not able to make videos, record content, go live stream. I'm not able to talk clear every single day. I can't express myself clearly every single day verbally. I can type and text all day. I got great ergonomics when it comes to typing. I can type maybe 80 to 100 words per minute. Like I got math skills when it comes to typing. Talking, oh my god, I'd be so afraid to talk. I'd be please have some patience when it comes to you studying, talking, or reading. Reading is a little bit worse, 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 but for more worse. This English language is so backwards. I don't understand it. That's why I feel this people. Alright, let's get to it. To Peggy, my beloved wife and soulmate. Besides the enormous contributions of my wife, special acknowledgments to Norma Maker, John Fahey. I'm really bad with names, chat. I butcher names. And while I'm on names, as someone that stutters, I do not call people by their name. It's such a difficult thing for me to address someone by their name. If your name is John, Peter, Betty, Susan, Smith, you can have the most rarest name like myself. I struggle with calling people by their name. Like I'll just make eye contact with you or look at you and be like, hey yo. Or I'll just look at you and start talking and be like, hey yo, blah, 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 blah. Or I'll be like, I got a question. Or you know what I'm saying? Like my body language will express that I'm speaking directly to you. You know what I mean? But like I struggle with speaking people's names to get their attention. Um, And it's worse if we're out in public and I gotta get somebody's attention that's like across the room or something, because I'm not gonna like shout their name like it's not gonna come out. Like I would have to walk all the way across the room, or I'd have to text them and be like, "Yo, you know, I struggle with like saying people's names, calling people by their name, and it's not on a disrespectful level. It's not me being disrespectful, like not wanting to address you personally. Like I just struggle with verbally pronouncing people's names. Um, Before I started working more on my speech verbally, it would take me like 35 minutes just to say my name is insert my name. You know, it would take me like 30, 35 minutes. Like it would really take me a long time just to say hi, my name is, and it would take me even longer to say they went to the store, for example. And I remember just like it was yesterday. Sidebar. I remember just like it was yesterday. Um, it's an older childhood memory after the age of 7, obviously. Um, but my grandparents came home from wherever they was at, and I'm the youngest of four. I got three older brothers. I'm the youngest of four. Um, so we all came home from school, um, and there was nobody home. And I guess my grandparents was not at home, and they came back, or something happened. And somebody asked me where somebody was. I don't know if it was my brothers or actually my grandparents was, or if my grandparents actually my brothers was. Somebody asked me something. Somebody asked me something. And I remember standing in the mobile home that we had. It was like in the dining room, but in the kitchen. You know how the mobile home trailers, where it have like the dining room and the living room. It'll be one room, but it'll be like sectioned off by like the carpet. So it'll be like carpet on one side, and then like the floor. You know what I'm saying? The kitchen floor on the other side. So it was like one of those. So I was kind of standing like almost in the middle of that, like leaning on the couch, but not necessarily in the kitchen. And I remember like almost 45 minutes. I remember because I got yelled at for it. And I remember whoever yelling at me saying, man, it took you almost 45 minutes just to get that out. And obviously I felt bad. I'm like, is that a long time? Like, you know what I mean? I'm a child. Like, I don't really understand how long 45 minutes is. So I'm like, is that a long time? But thinking back, I'm like, man, it took me that long just to say they went to the store. Or it took me that long to say, like, 3 words, 4 words. I really used to stutter really, really bad. Like, my son stutters as bad as I used to at the time. And I'm working with him on it. But stuttering's not easy. So I struggle with saying people's names, calling people's names. Um, and I highlighted that because reading is, but those two names, I was like, oh, ooh. But anyway, so shout out to those people from the author. Back to the book, chat. Back to the book. Shout out to those people from the author, Norma and John. I'm not going to butcher their last names. And to those associates who gave me time out of their lives for editing, advice, and encouragement. To all my subjects whose fortitude made this research possible by allowing me to travel the pathways of their minds alongside them. So I'm gonna read through the table of contents just so you guys can kind of get a overstanding of what's in this book. and the type of kind of information we're going to be covering. Um, and this may be the only book on death that we read. I gotta say everything twice, so you hear me. You know what I mean? Verbatim, cover to cover type shit. Because this book is heavy. This book is heavy, not weight wise, information wise. So introduction. Okay, that's the introduction. That's the introduction. And just for context, I got my little deaf hand here holding my microphone. One of my microphones. You see, I got my other microphone up here because I'm trying to knock this out on multiple platforms so I don't have to struggle to re-record this somewhere else because I struggle getting out content. And it's always a tech issue when I go to record. I know this is two new platforms I haven't streamed on before, but every time I go to get this content out, anything about stuttering or anything about anything, there's always a tech issue. It doesn't record, the audio doesn't capture, it's distorted, the image isn't coming in clear. It's always something. So I got multiple streams of cameras and audio running and recording. So if something don't catch something here, we gonna catch it over here. If we don't catch it over here, we gonna catch it over here. If you don't catch it back here, we gonna catch it on this camera back here. Fine, man. Departure. Chapter 2, Gateway to the Spiritual World. I didn't even get past chapter 2 when I was reading this book. I put it down, I believe, in the middle of chapter 2. Because I'm like, yo, the way Dr. Newton was breaking down the spiritual realm in here, or the way that his clients were saying how concept of death is when the soul leaves the body, they were saying it's like an airport. They were saying it's like an airport for souls. Like there's souls incoming, there's souls outcoming, like there's lines. You know what I mean? Like this book. This I don't even want to keep talking, like, but let's get into the book so y'all can be like, yo, I gotta go get this book. I gotta read this for myself. So chapter 2, Gateway to the Spiritual Realm. Spirit World, excuse me. Chapter 3, Homecoming. Chapter 4, Chapter 4, The Displaced Soul. Chapter 5, Orientation. Chapter 6, Transition. Chapter 7, Placement. Let's put a sidebar in chapter 7, Placement. Do you think placement has to do with reincarnating? Like souls that reincarnate back into Earth, into another body, another existence? Hmm. And do people believe in reincarnation? Hmm. Chapter 8, Our Guides. You know, spirit guides, you know, the people that you see, I guess, at the time of death to help you cross over. Uh, Chapter 9, The Beginner Soul. Chapter 10, The Intermediate Soul. Chapter 11, The Advanced Soul. Chapter 12, Life Section. Chapter 13, Choosing a New Body. Ah, Chapter 14, Preparation for in Preparation for Embarkation. Preparation for Embarkation. Whatever that means, it doesn't sound right. But moving on, because that's what it says. The word in embarkation. I'm gonna look it up in a second. Second that. Embarkation. I said aura because obviously I was raised by my grandparents, so they said aura. So that's how I say aura. um, Chapter 15 is rebirth, and then from there it just goes into the conclusion. Um, but I'm intrigued with chapter 7, chapter 13, because I didn't get that far in the book, and I didn't even skim through the book or flip through and just read certain parts of certain chapters, how I do with my other reference books. This book I actually wanted to read cover to cover. Some books I do read cover to cover, but most books in my library are just reference books. Like I'll just flip through them and reference them when I need them. Oh yeah, this book. Oh yeah, that book. Oh, this is a good reference book. Oh, if you guys want to learn about that. But this is a book I'm going to read cover to cover. Okay? There. Throw that in there random. Alright, Journey of Souls. Let's get to it, chat. I guess I should tell y'all who I am, right? I'm your host. I go by different names on different platforms. On pique, I am stuttering underscore stoner 425. Excuse me. Um, on this Twitch account, that's mahogany underscore coffee with a K. Coffee is spelled KOFFI 318. And then my gaming Twitch is Elias Leo 19. But that's for gameplay. I can't say I don't be talking over there. I be trying not to stutter wherever I be trying to stream at. But stuttering something I can't control. So I try to limit my talking wherever I am talking at because stuttering is not something that I'm very fond of. But it's something I have to cope with and learn how to adjust with and learn how to communicate in society, in the real world, trying to speak clear like everybody else. So yeah, I'm your host. Um, yeah, Stuttering Stoner. I'm actually going to go by Sam over here. Uh, that's a part of my government name, but we're just going to shorten it. Sam, I like that. That's how I am. Bam! And it holds external weight as well as external weight too. We're going to get to that on another show about why. Hey, let's get to the introduction. Are you ready, Chad? Are you ready, Chad? Are you ready? Are you ready? I should be asking myself if I'm ready, not you. I think that's who I'm asking myself if I'm ready, not you. But I don't usually vape. I'm not a vaper. I smoke weed. I smoke weed. Okay. I don't weed smoke. I smoke flowers and marijuana. Ain't no shame in my game. None. So, if you guys want me to feel embarrassed that I smoke or that I say I smoke weed, I don't. Okay. I got a lot of real life problems. Okay. I've been dealing with a lot of death since I was a baby. Okay. I lost my father at 1. I lost my mother 6 years later. Okay. And then from there, I, I don't even want to get into my backstory, but it's not obsolete, but now it's not the time for my backstory. But I smoke a lot of weed. I will never be ashamed to say I smoke weed. I'm right up there with Snoop and Wiz. I'm right up there with Snoop and Wiz, okay? I'm up there with them. I smoke every day before every function. Listen, listen, okay? That's neither here nor there. So I'm going to be smoking when I'm doing what I do because it helps calm my nervous system, for one. And I'm nervous because I know I'm about to. But as long as I take my time and slow down, I should be able to get these things done. All right, let's start with this message before we get to the introduction. You would know the hidden realm where all souls dwell. The journey, the journey's way lies through death, misty fell. Within this timeless passage, a guiding light does dance, lost from conscious memory, but visible in trance. I don't think I ever read that before, but it don't make no sense. But let's keep it moving. Introduction. Here we are, chat. We're going to get into it finally. I think I rambled enough. I rambled for an hour. Let's get to it. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. Here we go. and I'm gonna put some calm order. That's not even a pause moment, but for those who be on that pause shit pause. I need my throat to open up, so I can speak here. So not every day is a good speaking. And I'm nervous. When I get nervous, I sweat through shirts. Plural. Okay? Like my palms be sweating, my ears be sweating, all of that. Introduction. Here we go, chat. Let's get into it. Journey of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton. For those of you just coming in, chiming in. For those of you who are just coming in, you missed all of the disclaimers. You gotta run the playback for the disclaimers and whatnot, okay? Introduction. Are you afraid of death? Do you wonder what is going to happen to you after you die? Is it possible you have a spirit which came from somewhere else and will return there after your body dies? Or is this just wishful thinking because you're afraid? It is a paradox that it it is a paradox that humans alone of all creatures of the earth must repress the fear of death in order to lead normal lives. Yet our biological instincts never let us forget this ultimate danger to our being. As we grow older, the spec the the specter the specter of death rises in our consciousness. That was smooth articulatory contact that I learned in speech class in middle school. That 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 uh that C, because you know that sound, it's kind of almost in the back of the throat, but the tongue gotta lightly touch the roof of the mouth so you can make that C sound. I had to I had to let that flow out like, because if not, it would have been, and it would have looked weird and it would have sounded weird. So I'd be having to use my speech therapy methods in real time. Most of them don't work, but sometimes they do. Even religious people fear death. Even religious people fear death is the end of personhood. Our greatest dread of death brings thoughts about the nothingness of death, which will end all associations with family and friends. Dying makes all our earthly goals seem futile. If death were the end of everything about us, then life indeed would be meaningless. However, some power within us enables humans to conceive of a hereafter and to a sense and to sense a connection to a higher power and even and okay, hold on, I gotta back up. I gotta start this sentence over because I just, however, some power within us enables humans to conceive. However, let me start over here. However, some power within us enables humans to conceive of a hereafter and to sense a connection to a higher power and even an external soul. There we go. If we do actually have a soul, then where does it go after death? Is there really some sort of heaven full of intelligent spirits outside our physical universe? What does it look like? What do we do when we get there? Is there a supreme is there a supreme being in charge of this paradise? These questions are as old as humankind itself and still remain a mystery to most of us. The true answers to the mystery the, the true answers to the mystery of life after death remain locked behind a spiritual door for most people. This is because we have built-in amnesia about our soul's identity, which, on a conscious level, aids in the merging of the soul and human brain. In the last few years, the general public has heard about people who temporarily died and then came back to life. In the last few years, the general public has heard In the last few years, the general public has heard about people who temporarily died and then came back to life to tell about seeming a long tunnel, bright lights, and even brief encounters with friendly spirits. But none of these accounts written in the many books on reincarnation have ever given us anything more than a glimpse of all there is to know about life after death. I just read one paragraph and I'm exasperated with reading. Oh, how much more we got? How much more we got? Reading out loud, it is so draining to me. Oh my goodness. Chad, we might have to listen. It's like now. Let's get it. Even though I don't want to just read out loud, I'm gonna have to push and force myself to do this. This is like talking for me every single day. I have to force myself to talk, so let's get it. And we're we're not even getting to the good part. Like this is just the pre-prep for the good part. I'm still recording. Right? I don't think we're gonna be tripping sometime. Okay, here we go. We're getting back into it. We're really we haven't even gotten to the good part yet. This is so much to ingest. My goodness. All right, chat. Let's lock in. So while I'm reading, if you guys you probably don't need anything to do. You probably have many things to do. If you guys want to go check out the website while you're listening to me, fab, fabulous, eloquently read this book, you can check out the website at www.sleep263, sleep is spelled the numbers 263, no spaces, .com. Okay? If you guys want to scan the QR code for faster access, we got QR codes on deck for you guys to scan. Go ahead and scan that. This book is an intimate journal about the spirit world. It provides a series of actual case histories which reveal in explicit detail what happens to us when life on earth is over. You will be taken beyond the spiritual tunnel and enter the spirit world itself to learn what transpires for souls before they finally return to earth in another life. Damn. I am a skeptic by nature, although it will not seem so from the content of this book. As a counselor and hypnotherapist, I specialize in behavior modification for the treatment of psychological disorders. A large part of my work involves short-term cognitive reconstruction I don't know if I said that word right. Re, not reconstructing. Excuse me. Restructuring. Restructuring. Restruct. Whatever. Restructuring the client. Start over. A large part of my work involves short-term cognitive restructuring, restructuring with clients by helping them connect thoughts and emotions to promote healthy behavior. Together, we elicit the meaning, function, and consequences of their beliefs. Because I take the premise that no mental problem is imaginary. In the early days of my practice, I resisted past life requests from people because of my orientation towards traditional therapy. While I used hypnosis and age regression techniques to determine the origins of distributing memories and childhood trauma, I felt any attempt to reach a former life was unorthodox and non-clinical. My interest in reincarnation and metaphysics was only intellectual curiosity until I worked with a young man on pain management. We haven't even gotten into the case studies. When he was talking about how he helped this guy to get over this pain, hold on right quick. Let me lock in right quick. Let me lock in right quick, huh? Okay. Um, this client, this client complained of a lifetime of chronic pain on his right side. One of the tools of hypnotherapy to manage pain is directing the subject to make the pain worse so he or she can also learn to lessen the aching and thus acquire control. And I do that when I get headaches, especially when I don't have Excedrin, because Excedrin is the only thing that will stop my headache, none of that other stuff. So if I don't have Excedrin, I literally have to focus on where I feel the pain, the throbbing, the quake of the headache. So it's usually like my headaches. So I'll be having to like focus on like the vibrations of where the pain is coming from and then try to like lessen the vibration of the echo of the pain, if that makes any sense. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So it's second. I love it. Can't live without it. Let's just start back over from the paragraph. This 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 client complained for a lifetime of chronic pain on his right side. One of the tools of hypnotherapy to manage pain is directing the subject to make the pain worse so he or she can also learn to lessen the aching and thus acquire control. In one of our sessions involving pain intensification, this man used the imagery of being stabbed to recreate his torment. Searching for the origins of this image, I eventually uncovered his former life as a World War One soldier. That's almost a tongue twister for me. He was killed by a killed by a bayonet, or is it bayonetta? Um, but he was killed by that in France. and we were able to eliminate the pain altogether. With encouragement with encouragement from my clients, I began to experiment with moving some of them further back in time before their last birth on Earth. Initially, I was concerned that a subject's integration of current needs, beliefs, and fears would create fan- would create fantasies of recollection. However, it didn't take long before I realized our deep-seated memories offer a set of past experiences which are too real and connected to be ignored. I came to appreciate just how therapeutically important the link is between the bodies and events of our former lives and who we are today. There's so much I can interject in this one little page I read. Like, 'cause I don't want to keep interrupting what I'm reading to give you know, my thoughts, my opinions, and my experiences. Cause, listen, I have a lot to say about stuff I'm reading in this book, but I'll get my time to say what I want to say. I do want to proportions. And I know it's going to be somebody talking about me. I found I found it was possible to see into the spirit world through the mind's eye of a hypnotized subject who could report back to me of life between lives on Earth. Sidebar: a remote viewing. Remote viewing. Okay? Okay? The case that opened the door to the spirit world for me was a middle-aged woman who was an especially receptive hypnosis subject. She had been talking to me about her feelings of loneliness and isolation in that delicate stage when a subject has finished re- recalling their most recent past life. This this unusual individual slipped this unusual individual slipped into the highest state of altered consciousness almost by herself. Without realizing, I had initiated an overly short command for this action. I suggested she go to the source of her loss of companionship. At the same moment, I inadvertently used one of the trigger words to spiritual recall. I also asked if she had a specific group of friends whom she missed. Suddenly, my client started to cry. When I directed her to tell me what was wrong, she blurted out, "I miss some friends in my group, and that's why I get so lonely on Earth." I was confused and questioned her further about where this group of friends was actually located. "Here, in my permanent home," she answered simply, "and I'm looking at all of them right now." After finishing with this client and reviewing her tape recordings, I recognized that finding the spirit world involved an excuse me, an extension of past life regression. There are many books about past lives, but none I could find which told about life as souls or how to properly access the spiritual recollections of people. I decided to do the research myself, and with practice, I acquired greater skills in entering the spirit realm. I say spirit realm, but in the book they say spirit world. Spirit world through my subjects. I also learned that finding their place in the spirit world was far more meaningful to people than recounting their former lives on Earth. Excuse me. How how is it possible to reach? How is it possible to reach the soul? How is it possible to reach the soul singular through hypnosis? Visualize the mind as having three concentric circles, each smaller than the last, and within the other, separated only by layers, separated by let's start over. How is it possible to reach the soul through hypnosis? Visualize the mind as having three concent- con- concentric circles, each smaller than the last and within the other, separated only by the layers of connected mind consciousness. The first outer layer is represented by the conscious mind, which is our critical, analytical, reasoning source. The second layer is the subconscious, where where we initially go in hypnosis to tap into the storage area for all the memories that have ever happened to us in this life and former lives. The third, the yeah, the innermost core is what we are now calling the superconscious mind. This level exposes the highest center of self, where we are an expression of a higher power. The superconscious house is, excuse me, not is, the superconscious houses our real identity, augmented by the subconscious, which contains the memories of many alter egos assumed by us in our former human body. The superconscious may not be a level at all, but the soul itself. The superconscious mind represents our highest center of wisdom and perspective, and all my information about life and death comes from this source of intelligent energy. Let me stop right there. When they was talking about the superconscious mind, there's another book. Excuse me, there's another book. I'm still reading. Um, I just seen the book when I was reading it. It's called. See the book cover. What's the name? What's the author? I got it on the bookshelf. I don't want to get up and get it because I know the book. Give me a second. It's right there. What's the name of the book? Becoming Supernatural by what's the author's name? Something Esperanza. Espinosa something. Anyway, it's a good book. Look it up on Amazon. Becoming Supernatural. Um, it's like a greenish, tannish looking cover. That's a really good book to tap into the subconscious mind or the super consciousness that they're talking about in this book. Again, all these books be reference books, reference books. This is why this is why I chose this is why I chose decide to to- I was close. I was close. I was close. I like as you can see on this screen over here, becoming supernatural. Uh, but that's the book I was talking about. It's a good book to read if you want to tap into your subconscious mind. I'm still reading it. Again, another book with it, heavy information in it. That's a book you're gonna have to read in increments. You gotta read these books in sections. These books are not books you can just read front to back, front to cover. Like you have to read these books in increments. Girl, because listen, it will blow your little mind away. It'll blow your little mind away. Top notch level. Uh, so sidebar to that. Okay, let's pick back up. We got about three more pages left in the introduction. We're gonna get through this. I'm pushing through this. Time is not really, you know, time is not really a thing for me right now. It usually is. Father of six kids, I'll be busy. I'll be busy. Let's get back into it. Here we go. Page four. We're only on the fourth page. Only on the fourth page. How valid is the use of hypnosis for uncovering truth? People in hypnosis are neither dreaming nor hallucinating. We don't dream in chronological sequence nor hallucinate in a directed trance state. When subjects are placed in a trance, their brain wave slows down from beta wake state and continue to change by vibrations down past the meditative alpha state into various levels within theta range. And I do want to sidebar here because on my wall here, I have the different brain wave states and the different brain hemispheres and what they um, manage, manage or they oversee or what they function, how they function. But we may have to get into that another day, another stream. It's not a lot of information, but it's information that can be time consuming if you just to lean in about brain hemispheres and brain waves, theta, alpha, theta, um, and yet brain hemispheres, like I said, uh, because I don't think I have the one exactly, but I believe the um, so yes, brain waves. We're talking about brain waves. Theta is hypnosis, not sleep. When we sleep, we go to the final delta state where messages from the brain are dropped into the subconscious and vented through our dreams. In theta, however, the conscious mind is not unconscious, so we are able to receive as well as send messages with all memory channels open. Hmm. Once in hypnosis, people report the pictures that they see and and dialogue they hear in their unconscious mind as literal observations. In response to questions, subjects cannot lie, but they may misinterpret something seen in their unconscious mind, just as we do in the conscious waking state. In hypnosis, people have trouble relating to anything they don't believe is true. Let me read that again. In hypnosis, people have trouble relating to anything they don't believe is the truth. Some critics of hypnosis believe a subject in trance will fabricate memories and bias their responses excuse me, in order to adopt any theoretical framework suggested by the hypnosis. I find this generalization to be a false premise. In my work, I treat each case as if I were hearing the information for the first time. If a subject were somehow able to overcome hypnosis procedure and construct a deliberate fantasy about the spirit world, or free associate from preset ideas about their afterlife, these responses would soon become inconsistent with my other case reports. I learned the value of careful cross-examination early in my work, and I found no evidence of anyone faking their spiritual experiences to please me. In fact, subjects in hypnosis are not hesitant to, not to, in correcting my misinterpretations of their statements. As my case files grew, I discovered by trial and error to phrase questions about the spirit world in a proper sequence. Subjects in a superconscious state are not particularly motivated to volunteer information about the whole plan of soul's life. One must have the right set of keys for specific doors. Okay. Eventually, I was able, and it reminds me of the Matrix movie, of the Keymaker. Oh my goodness. Let's stay focused. Oof. Eventually, I was able to. Eventually, I was able to perfect a reliable method of memory access to different parts of the spirit world by knowing which door to open at the right time during a session. As I gained confidence with each session, more people sensed I was comfortable with the hereafter and felt it was alright to speak to me about it. The clients in my cases represented some men and women who were very religious, while others had no particular spiritual beliefs at all. Most fall somewhere in between, with a mixed bag of personal philosophies about life. The astounding thing I found as I the 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 astounding thing I found as I progressed with my research was that once subjects were regressed back into their soul state, They all displayed a remarkable consistency in responding to questions about the spirit world. People even used the same words and graphic descriptions in the colloquial. Is that how you say that word? Colloquial. 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 Don't give me the butchering words. I spelled it out for you guys, okay? Um, Sidebar. Let's actually look this up right there so we can get a better understanding. Because I believe I understand what the word means, but I want you guys to have a better understanding. English language. My English language is so poor. Yeah. Colloquial. That, 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 that. What? Throat sounding word, you know? Colloquial. Anyway, it means use used in ordinary or familiar conversation. Colloquial. That's what it means. People even use the same words in graphic description in colloquial language when discussing their lives as souls. I had to say it like that so I can say it right. I don't say that word often. And my throat is actually starting to get a little scratchy now because I'm forcing myself to talk and speak and read and stuff. I was gonna say something, but I think I'll save my sidebars for after, just so we can get through this. However, 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 this homogeneity, homogeneity. I believe I'm pronouncing it right. I'm gonna spell it for you guys because again, my English language is it's not that it's poor. Like I can read and write. I can speak proper English to an extent, but some words in this English language just does not make sense. And I know y'all seen the videos where people, there, two, and two, C, and C. Back to the word. Hom, homo, ho, ho, homogeneity. Hom, homogeneity. I'm about to look it up so I can pronounce it right because I know I am butchering it. Homogeneity. Oh, Say it again. Ho- homogeneity. 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 It sounds almost Chinese. Homogeneity. Anyway, it's the quality or state of being all the same or all of the same kind. However, this homogeneity of experience by so many clients did not stop me from continually trying to verify statements between my subjects and the I know the word, I just don't say it, so I know I'm going to butcher that word too. Let me clear my throat. Anyway. However, this homogeneity of experience, excuse me, by so many clients did not stop me from continually trying to verify statements between my subjects and corroborate, corroborate that word is mixed, specific corroborate. Is that how you say that word? That word looks funny. Hang on, man. English is flowing, you know? Because I know the word. O, aura, aura, O, B, O, aura, A, corroborate. It doesn't, whatever. Let's start over again, chat. Let's get through this paragraph so we can keep it moving. However, this homogeneity of experience by so many clients did not stop me from continually trying to verify statements between my subjects and corroborate specific functional activities of soul. There were some there were some differences in narrate in there were some differences in narrative reporting between cases, but this was due more to the level of soul development than to variances in how each subject basically saw the spirit world. That was a lot. The research was painfully slow, but as the body of my cases grew, I finally let's just start over. The research was painfully slow, but as the body of my cases grew, I finally had a working model of the external world where our souls live. I found thoughts about the spirit world and thoughts. Oh. Okay, excuse me. I'm confused. I found thoughts about the spirit world involved universal truths among the souls of people living on earth. It was these preconceptions by so many different types of people which convinced me their statements were believable. I am not a religious person, but I found the place where we go after death to be one of order and direction, and I have come to appreciate that there is a grand design to life and afterlife. When I consider how to best present my findings, I determined the case study method would provide the most descriptive way in which the reader could evaluate client recall about the afterlife. And that's what this book is. It's a case by case, chapter by chapter. He goes through his different cases and they highlight their near death experiences or what they see, felt, saw, all of that while they was in that state of dying, death, being dead, being revived, coming back to life, or now the distortion of being back from that. Um, 'Cause, like, again, I got my own. They're not my firsthand experiences, but I heard someone else's firsthand experience who had a near-death experience, and you know, she explained when she came back from her near-death experience, everything was different for her. Like she felt out of place. Like she felt out of place. Like she didn't belong here anymore. Like you know what I mean? Um, and as I mentioned in the beginning, I'm a lover of anything supernormal, natural, um, you know, or anything of that matter or mention. But when you venture into the spirit realm as a human, you're you're like immediately you're like a red flag there. All of the souls that are there that know you're not supposed to be there, they know that you're there, and that's usually where comps come in. Psycho comps. Some people call them this, some people call them that, but there's so much information to sort through, and so much different information to sort through. But what I'm trying to get at is if you're a human venturing into the spirit realm, um, unprotected, unwanted, then those spirits in the spirit realm, they can definitely attack you. They can definitely kick you out of the spirit realm. All of that, and you don't want to get stuck there, trapped there, because essentially in the real world that means you die. But if you can, if you can get in and get out, if that's the type of time you on, if you're trying to get in and get out, if you're trying to go in and get some information, or if you're trying to go in and talk to somebody, or see somebody or whatever, you have to either be cloaked, shield, or you have to know how to navigate, or you need to have a guide to get through there. Again, Supernatural, the originals, one of those shows, maybe both of them, they had different episodes with different scenes where it's like in order to get to the spirit realm, it's like you almost had to get on this boat, this ferry boat, and you had to pay the ferryman in order to cross over into the spirit realm. You know what I mean? Like that type concept, but not necessarily that exactly. But the spirit realm is a heavy, heavy place. But if you're not welcome there, if you're not supposed to be there, you need to hurry up and get on through, or you will end up being stuck there. Uh, I even forgot how I even got on this subject we're talking about. Anyway, um, oh yeah, because Document was talking about how he got religious and everybody was saying that they So we were talking about the best way to put his information together, the best way to compile his information. Okay, let's just start there. Figure out this address and whatever. When I considered how best to present my findings, I determined the case study method would provide the most prescriptive way in which the reader could evaluate client recall about the afterlife. Each case I have selected Each case I have selected represents a direct dialogue between myself and a subject. I wish you would call them clients. This isn't my book. He calls them subjects. The case testimonies are taken from tape recordings from my session. This book is not intended to be about my subjects' past lives, but rather a documentation of their experiences in the spirit realm, the spirit world relating to those lives. For readers who may have trouble conceptualizing our souls as non-material objects, the case histories listed in the early chapters explain how souls appear and the way in which they function. Each case history is abbreviated to some extent because of space constraints and to give the reader an orderly arrangement of soul activity. These chapters are excuse me, the chapters are designed to show the normal progression of souls into and out of the spirit world, incorporated with other spiritual information. The travel of souls from the time of death to their next incarnation has come to me from over 30 years of life between life hypnotherapy. The travel of souls from the time of death to their next incarnation has engaged my study since the 1970s, growing with each decade. However, most of the LBL, that's Life Between Lives, cases in this book were collected within the past 10 years. It surprised me at first that I had people who remember parts of their soul life more clearly after distant lifetimes than recent ones. Yet, for some reason, no one subject was able to recall the entire chronologic, excuse me, chronologic, chronolog, chronolog. I'm gonna spell it for you guys. Maybe I'm having a brain fart. I don't know. Maybe all these words are starting to run together. Chronology. Chronolo- chronology. A chrono. Hey, chronologically. A chronolog. a- Okay. Um. Now, if I break it up into stem words, obviously I can say it. Chronology. But if I was to text to speech that they could give me some different pronunciation. But again, you guys know I struggle with speaking English language, so even if the word is chronology, I think I'll still subconsciously add another OLG somewhere in there. That's probably where I'm getting tongue tied on the chronology. See? Because I think I'm adding a K in there, chronology, but that's not the word. Where we at? Like, and it's another sidebar. I know I got a lot of sidebars. That's like black folks with that's like black folks with let me see if I can get it out. That's like black folks with with the with the word ambulance. Like we know the word is ambulance, but we gonna say ambulance. You know, it's called ambulance. You know, it's called ambulance. You know. So it's one of those words. Like I know it's chronologically, but I think when I go to say it, I think I add a K by the end for knowledge, like chronology. I think I added I borrowed this. But yeah, I struggle so much with English and speaking English. And another sidebar, I got a lot of sidebars, guys. Sorry. If someone would have recommended, and they did, not even if, when people was recommending to me 2 years ago, 3 years ago, anytime in the past, like, oh, you probably should read out loud. That would help you, so with your studying and stuff. Read out loud? What? After being teased all my life in school for not being able to read in class, you recommending that I should read out loud to people? Because it's going to help my, my studying? Lord have mercy. And I, someone even recommended that I go to college for public speaking. I said, oh, you should go to school to be a speaker, like a public speaker. And I was me, someone that has trouble speaking and talking and reading and camera shy and all types of things. Back then, the answer and the response would have been hell no, fuck no. But I have to push and force myself outside of these comfort zones of being a recluse and you know being just a borderline me. Because I know a lot of shit. I read a lot of books. I know a lot of shit. Even if what I read in the books don't be factual, I got a lot of first-hand experience about a lot of fucked up shit. So I do still have a lot to share. Talking may not be the way for me to express what I need to verbally express. And that's why I just decided just to, you know, put it in a book. I'm writing an autobiography. As you can see on my board, I have books that are just, but it's just easier for me to type everything and to type about my experiences. To type it's easier that way. Verbally speaking, talking is communicating. I already have to do it every single day. Like there's no job you can work on planet Earth where you don't have to talk. If so, tell me, and I'll apply. And if they hire me, I'll keep that job until I take my last breath. But any job in America, they require you to speak. Even if you have trouble speaking, they will. Hmm, they have. They're supposed to have accommodations like a translator or a text to speech or whatever, or whatever. Most jobs don't have that. Most jobs don't have that. They didn't provide that for me. And if I apply for these jobs and I go to an interview and I'm stuttering through the interview or I can't answer the questions as fast and efficient as I guess the interviewee would like me to, I don't get the job. And that's happened a gazillion, bazillion, fulfillion times over. It's happened more times over than every person on the planet. And that's no exaggeration. Y'all can say there's not even many that jobs for you to apply to. It doesn't matter. It's happened more times, many times over than 5 times over the mass amount of people on this planet. That's how many times it's already happened. So the math is nothing. But there's no job on planet Earth where you don't have to verbally talk to someone, anyone, even warehouse jobs, because I've already did Amazon and all of that too. You still have to communicate. You still got to talk to the PA. You still got to report to somebody where you have to verbally communicate. And I have to text the app speech on my phone, and I will gladly text anybody and let that AI read that thing out loud to you. Y'all lucky I didn't run that on this, because that's how I was about to run these podcasts. Type everything into the AI prompt and just let AI read everything out to you guys. And I'm like, no, I need to get out of my comfort zone of stuttering or like not wanting to speak or like being embarrassed to stutter or whatever. Like I gotta get out of that shit. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I have to be the one to do the talking. Like I gotta be the one to deliver this information. Somebody else can do it, yeah, but I gotta do it. You know what I mean? I gotta do it. Just like with everything else in my life, I gotta be the one to do it. I can't expect other people to do other things for you. Like I gotta be the one to do it for myself type shit. Especially speaking. Um, like I struggle with speaking every day, like and like, I don't have a translator, I don't have nobody next to me to misinterpret, I don't know American Sign Language, I speak hood English, I speak Ebonics, I speak Gullah-Geechee, I speak broken dialects of dialects. That's not even, you know what I mean? The language I speak. I don't speak one broad language like English. I speak broken dialects that I compile together to try to match the common dialect of the land where I am. So I struggle a lot with speaking. I don't have an interpreter. I don't know ASL. I got ASL flashcards right here. I got ASL flashcards right here. Okay. Let's keep that shit on the review. I ain't care. I ain't care. But I have to be the one to deliver this information. So I'm like, I can't feed all of this into the AI and expect the AI to compute everything that I want to express or to compute everything that I'm trying to say. That motherfucker's going to shut down. That motherfucker's going to shut down. The AI, it's going to shut down. Like system overload. You need to take a break. You need some time to gather. You need some time to something. The AI is not going to be able to compute. So I said, well, I just have to get my stuttering ass up here and fucking make the world uncomfortable so I can get out this information that I so desperately want to get out. So it can help whoever it can help. If it doesn't help you, okay, it don't help you. If it don't apply, let it fly. You know? But there is somebody who can utilize whatever information I have to share, starting with my kids. They already get it. But some of this information I gotta be the one to put it out there, or I gotta be the one to at least initiate the seed to be planted in somebody else's mental, so they can go and do the research, so they can discover their own journey of self-discovery. You know what I mean? So, hold on, man. Not every day is a good speaking day. Some days I am a mute. Some days I only talk to my kids. Some days I don't answer the phone at all. I'll text everybody. I'll send emails. I don't care if we're in the same room. I'm gonna text you. Hey, can you text me remote? Can you text me remote? And they're gonna look up and look at me. You're right there. Yeah. But I wanna do, you know what I mean? Like I need to bring in this ancestral energy. Let me bring in my grandparents' energy. You know how your grandparents would call you from the other room just to turn the TV channel? I was waiting for remotes. They would call you to turn it, you know what I'm saying? Knob on the TV. Yeah, I do that to my kids. You know, they don't be here in the physical, but some of the things that I do knowing that they be being here. You know, I don't even know why I'm telling y'all this, but like reading this book, it really be having me like tapping into some unseen shit. Like you be feeling some shit, and you know what I mean? Like you just be wanting to lean in about some shit. I got a lot of shit to lean in about, but let's finish up this introduction so we can wrap this up because my throat is hurting. As you can tell, you know, my voice already has changed and shifted. I don't talk this much. I think this is the most I've talked in like a couple years. Like, I don't talk to people. I don't be on the phone. I don't. I'm very secluded. I'm not that talkative. I don't have a lot of friends. Very damn near all my family. I got three older brothers. I barely talk to them. I don't really talk to any of my family. But yeah, let's finish up. We got a couple more. We got a couple more paragraphs here to finish up. Chat. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. I know y'all got other stuff to do. Likewise myself. Um, chronology. That's the first word. Spotted out in the kids. Why? It's a big ass word that I get you. Okay. Oh, chronology. Let's just start over because I think I had like 8 sidebars on that one. But yeah, let's wrap it up. Let's just start back over. All right here. However, most of the LBL cases in this book were conducted within the past 2 years. It surprised me at first who that I had people who remembered parts of their soul life more clearly after distant lifetimes than recent ones. Yet, for some reason, no one subject was able to recall the entire chrono- the chronology, that word, of soul activity. My clients remember certain aspects of their spiritual life quite vividly, while while others, excuse me, while other experiences are hazy to them. As a result, even with these 29 cases, I found I could not give the reader the full range of information I have gathered about the spirit world. Thus, my chapters contain details from more cases than just the 29 listed. The reader may consider my questioning in certain cases to be rather demanding. In hypnosis, it is necessary to keep the subject on track. When working in the spirit realm, we finally use the word realm instead of word. When working in the spirit realm, the demands on a facilitator are higher than with past life recall. In trance, the average subject tends to lose his or her, you know, that verb. Okay. In trance, the average subject tends to let his or her soul mind wander while watching interesting scenes unfold. My clients often want me to stop talking so they can detach from reporting what they see and just enjoy their past experiences as souls. I try to be gentle and not overly structured, but my sessions are usually single ones which run 3 hours in length and there is a lot to cover. People may come long distances to see me and not be able to return. I find it very rewarding to watch the look of wonder on a client's face, finally he said client and not subject, when his or her session ends. For those of us who have had the opportunity to actually see our immortality, a new depth of self-understanding and empowerment emerges. Before awakening my subjects, I often implant appropriate post-suggestion memories, having a conscious knowledge of their soul life in the spirit world and a history of physical existence on planets gives these people a stronger sense of direction and energy for life. Finally, this is the last paragraph, Chad. Finally, I should say that what you are about to read may come as a shock to your perceptions about death. The material presented here may go against your philosophical and religious beliefs. There will be those readers who will find support for their existing opinions. For others, the information offered in these cases will all appear to be subjective tales resembling a science fiction story. Whatever your persuasion, I hope you will reflect upon the whatever your persuasion, I hope you will reflect upon the implications for humanity if what my subjects have to say about life after death is accurate. God damn. Just the introduction. I know I had a lot of sidebars. I do have a lot to commentate on this book. Again, I have a lot of first-hand experience with death. Losing my family, burying my family before 17. I've also, I've had so many brushes with death, near-death experiences from car accidents, house fires, like so many different instances where I guess I could have died. Maybe I should have died, but I didn't. So, like all of this, everything, this, that, everything. All of this has led to my intriguingness in this concept of death and what it is and why it's so feared and you know. And I posed the question the other day. I don't know who I posed it to, but I was talking to somebody about this book. If death is not the end, if death is not the end of the human existence, the human experience, number one, why are people afraid of it? If death is not the end of the journey, then why are the elite transferring consciousness and transferring souls? They was doing this in the times of the ancient Egyptians before even these people in power came to be. They was transferring souls in the Egyptian texts. Stargate, Stargate SG-1, another great, another great series, another great series. They was doing that in the time of the ancient Egyptians. They might have been doing that before. I'm not sure. But transferring consciousness, transferring souls into different bodies, other bodies, whether it's a robotic body or whether it's a different humanoid body, it's already been done. It's already been done. It's already been studied. You know what I mean? It's already secretly out there. If it's not public knowledge, then somebody already tapped in. Um, so if death is the end, why, why, why must we fear it? Why must we be afraid to, or why even the concept of being buried 6 feet deep? You know, I know that comes from this, that, and the third, but let's, religiously, historically, across the globe, let's look at different cultures and how they look at death, how they accept death if they do, and how they handle the funerary rites. Because it's funerary rites for every culture, every national, every nationality, nationality of the land. They have their own funerary rites. So why here in the West, under the banner of, you know, Christianity, because most people in America are Christian. Not everyone, most. Why are we taught to fear death? Why are we taught to be afraid? I don't know. A lot of opening questions, definitely some stuff to research if you're interested. We're going to keep going through these books. I got a lot more to input and to say and everything. I'm on a time schedule. I got some other things to do. I got other things to do. Busy, 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 like I said. I really just wanted to try to get this information out while I thought I was having a good speaking. Not thought, I am having a pretty good speaking day. Because any other day, yesterday I would have not been able to do this, get this information out, let alone read on camera. And because I was going to do this live over here on Riverside, but I was like, nah, let me just pre-record. But I realized I haven't really been live over here on this Twitch account. So I'm like, let me crank up. It's time to crank up. Let me crank up right quick. Oh shit. So, I mean, it is what it is. I gotta get it in how I gotta get it in. Not every day is gonna be a good speaking day. Not every day I can get this information out. Not every day I feel like talking about whatever a traumatic shit my soul experienced when it experienced it. But whatever we went through in the earlier stages of this life, it's really fucking traumatic. Because I blacked that shit out several whole fucking years. And what I mean when I say that, my consciousness didn't come online until after my mother died. Like, I believe my consciousness registered at the wake, at my mother's wake. Like, that's my first memory. That's my first memory. I remember being at my mother's wake. I don't remember anything before that. I may have those three distant memories, but them shits is fuzzy as a bitch. Them shits is fuzzy as a bitch. My first online memory was at my mother's wake. And I remember, I remember that. I remember. So that's what I mean when I say what I say. So yeah, we're gonna talk about it. It's a lot to dissect here. It's a lot of information to run through. It's a lot of research to research. It's a lot of information to go through. But this is why I wanted to go through these books because I have unanswered questions about myself. And then, as far as my past and my history, all my family is dead and gone. There's nobody to answer questions that I have, you know. And as far as my father's side of the family, I've already reached out to them. They acting brand new like they don't know nobody. And they probably don't know nobody. But that's okay. I done reached out to y'all and let y'all know who I am. Let y'all know who my daddy was, y'all brother and them boy. And y'all still acting brand new like you don't know me or you ain't trying to get to know me. That's cool. Everything love. But I'm not going to keep reaching out to people to try to understand anything about what happened in the past if you're not willing to assist. And I said that with a light, heavy grain of salt because just as I've buried all of my family on my mother's side, I have a sister on my father's side that nobody wants to talk about. Apparently, she fell off the face of the earth. I don't know. I don't know. I try to ask people about her. They don't know. They don't know. I try to look her up on the internet. There's no records found. I don't know. But I got some information from my father's funeral that says otherwise. So, I'm about to get up off here because my throat is hurting and talking too much. Anyway, I got my own, I got my own uh, reasons for why, I'm getting into this information and sharing this information, live out with everyone and everything. Like I'm trying to piece together my own story so I can better understand what I got going on in life, you know. Uh, but I have my own experiences that I wish to share with the world. You know, if I don't share them with the world, they're going to perish with me because I'm not gonna share them at all. So rather than not say anything about everything that I've experienced in my traumatic life of this lifetime, I'm gonna tell it all. I'm gonna tell it all. I'm not listen, I'm not worried about who don't like it. You don't like it, you don't gotta listen, you don't gotta tune in. If you don't like it and you was involved in the story, when that part of the story comes up and you're involved in it, if you didn't like it or you don't like it, you should have treated me better or you should have assisted when you seen and knew that I needed assistance, even if you know I'm stubborn and hard headed and didn't want to ask. You should have still offered. Okay? Because it's about it's about kindness. It's about kindness, you know, generosity, common courtesy. You know what I mean? Common courtesy. But I don't want to lean in too much. I don't want to get out of character too much because this is not the station for that. But it's not the episode for that. If we want to lean in, then we lean in on that other stuff. Everything is a part of everything, and it's mad layers to this onion, and this onion is thick. So we gotta peel these layers back real slow. Real slow, we gonna have to peel these layers back. Like this. Right here. So let's just start with Journey of Souls, then now take us into, you know, past childhood shit, trauma shit, then we can lean into actual family members, and then we can segue that into um, um, recent past, present, and how that correlates now into the present future, and how it's going to affect the intermediate future, because everything is a part of everything. Okay. That's all I got for you guys. My throat is killing me. I'm about to go make some tea. That was just the introduction. Brilliant Souls, Michael Newton's book. Obviously, I have a lot to add with and add with. Um, my next episode, my next podcast, I really want to sit up in my library. I'm not going to show you all of my books in my library for the general public. But I do want to showcase different books I have on the concept that from different religious standpoints or cultural standpoints. Let's not say religious, let's say cultural. I like that better. Excuse me. But that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being super duper patient, man. Thanks for being patient. I love patient people. Even though it's nobody here, it's nobody watching. Like I've even said it before, if you put me in a room with a stage and it's absolutely nobody in there, nobody sitting in the chairs, there don't even gotta be chairs. I'm still going to feel equally nervous to speak, and I'm still going to stutter equally the same if I'm giving a lecture to a room full of nobody there. You know, I still stutter the same. It doesn't matter who I'm talking to, what we're talking about, or anything. I have trouble speaking American English, English altogether. It don't got to be American English. It could be British English. I have trouble speaking English. Okay, so I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. That's all I can say. I'm working on it. But I got to work on it in my own way, in my own method, because speech therapy It helped when it helped, but it's not helping me anymore. So I've over the years I've been finding other ways to better effectively communicate with the outside world. And when I say with the outside world, most times I don't talk, most times I don't socialize. Most times I'm a recluse, most times I'm a mute. I sit right here on my phone and on my laptop and I text and type everybody. I don't do really going live. It's hard to record content. Like it's hard to talk. It's hard to verbally get words out. And if I do talk like this, you'll hear me speak a lot of hood shit, hood slangs. You'll hear a lot of ebonics. You know, you will, yeah, yeah. So I'm like, yeah. Uh, that's all I can say. I'm not here for none of that about none of that. I don't care about them likes and them clicks. I'm not here for, the none of that. You know, I just want to tell my story because I'm tired of being overtalked. I'm tired of being silenced. Uh, and I'm tired of not being able to talk when or where I need to talk at. And that's why I speak so forceful and in the affirmative because I force these words out. I force them out. Like I gotta get them out. I gotta get them out. And if I don't get them out, it's not gonna come out. I'm going to be more frustrated that I can't get the words out. And then 10 times out of 10, because people are people, and humans are the best of ever, people, they have to find some means to tease people and make fun of people. I've been getting teased for stuttering all my life. Still, as an adult, other grown ass motherfuckers be teasing me. So I still get teased. I still get made fun of. Shouldn't have to be like this with the world. Shouldn't have to. I can't wait to get some replay. I don't like this. I'm done talking now. For now. But I gotta get this information out. I have so much information to get out. So much information to get out. I'm gonna get it all out. Okay? It's gonna take some time. It's not gonna be all at once. A lot of this information I got to get out. It's some shit you're gonna have to sit with. It's some shit you're gonna have to listen back to 2, 3, 4, 5 times just to understand what I'm talking about. Because what the fuck is he talking about? You know what I mean? It's gonna come out when it comes out. It's gonna come out however it comes out. I'm not going to hold back how it does come out, and I'm not going to apologize for how it comes out. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. So I appreciate you guys being patient. I appreciate myself being patient. Let me thank myself before I thank y'all. Hold on, y'all. Thank you, self, for being able to do this, because we know this shit was a lot. We had to clear out the whole house, turn everything off. You quiet in this motherfucker. We don't even got the TV on, no background noise. I need to focus. So thank you, self, for being patient with self. I appreciate you. And while I'm on appreciating myself, I need to appreciate my voice box and my throat and shit. Because many days we don't talk. Many days we are quiet. Many days. But on days that I got a lot of shit to say, believe believe I got a lot of shit to say. And I'm gonna get it out. 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 And before I wrap this up, I got a gym class 101. I'm trying to get out. Got all my notes together. I've been had my notes ready for like 2 years now. Struggling with getting out content and going live or talking or getting in front of the camera. Whatever it is, I have problems with all of that. Talking, speaking, being in front of the camera, going live, socializing, being shy. All of that. Group all of that under one umbrella. Okay? So I got this gemstone class that I want to roll out about crystals, gemstones. I'm losing my voice now. And like I real life have crystals glittered all around my desk, starting with this selenite right here. I seen this yesterday, well the day before yesterday when I was helping the children put up the Christmas tree, and I was like selenite. Oh yeah, I forgot about selenite. I didn't, but I did. I was like, you know what? Boom. So anyway, um, so I said all of that to say I real life had to build a grid of crystals around this little corner right here just to roll out this content. I have strengthening crystals right here. I have talking crystals right behind the laptop. I have a clear quartz and you know what I'm saying, like selenite right here. And then up here, I also have more speaking crystals, throat chakra crystals. And then, of course, on my neck, I have crystals of, you know what I'm saying, protection. I have to fortify a grid just to be able to roll out this energy. I can't just roll this shit out any type of kind of way. It's not going to come out. I've been trying for years. I gotta anchor these grids. Once we anchor these grids, that's not the money. That's not the money. That's the information. You don't gotta believe anything I say. Don't believe me. Okay? The rest of the world doesn't. I'm not here to be liked and believed. Do your own research. Okay? Read my autobiography when it drops. Study my brain after I'm long gone from this planet. Okay? Facts will be facts. That's all I have to say. Stuttering is not easy. Talking is not an easy task. If you know someone that stutters, be a little bit more patient with them. Like, yeah, just like, come on, man. I can give y'all a list of things to do and not do with people that stutter. And I'm like, I actually think I'm gonna roll that out. Um, like, it's so many do's and don'ts with stutterers, man. Like, it's so many do's and don'ts. It's uh, mm. And a lot of them shits rub me wrong. Which is why I do be quiet about a lot of shit because no, man, no. Like that one, I don't even want to call him a kid. That one guy that was on that 40D and one that was stuttering. Then he went back up there with Yanti. Y'all know Yanti Mount. Lord have mercy. That made me uncomfortable. I turned it off. I turned it off. I didn't even want to. There's so many reference points I can reference this on stuttering. The song that Gates just dropped. That guy was also in the video. Yeah, but no, I understand, but no, no, no. And anyways, I have books on stuttering as well. I'll share with you guys. I got a lot of books in my library. I don't know. I'm not gonna show y'all all my books, but I'll show y'all some of them. But I do have a lot of books on stuttering. And it's not easy, okay? Like I gotta be patient with myself, but I also need the world to be patient with me. And if the world is not gonna be patient with me, I'm gonna demand patience from the world. I'm gonna demand it because I can't speak well every day. I can't speak clear every day. And if it's a requirement, to socialize, that you have to be able to speak and respond instantaneously, I'm opting out. I'm opting out. I'm already running that social experiment. If I feel like I have to be rushed to speak to you or be forced to talk to you, I'm not talking to you. We can both stand there and be looking stupid. We can be looking stupid together. We can be looking stupid together. Because I'm not obligated to talk to anybody. My mother's dead, my father's dead, my granny's dead, my grandpa's dead. Okay? I'm not obligated to speak to nobody. I don't have to answer nobody. I don't have to answer to nobody. I don't have to report the bridge nowhere. Nowhere. I speak when spoken to, or speak when I feel like it, or am in the mood to speak. If I have to feel obligated or forced to speak, I am not going to speak. And if I have to take a vow of silence to exercise that in America, I've already done the research. I've already done the research. That's how real it is. That's how real it is. It's real in the battlefield. It's real in the battlefield. Okay? So I deal with this shit every single day. Every single day, guys. I deal with it every single day. My son is just now experiencing everything that I've already experienced. And I feel bad for him. I feel bad for him. I feel bad. But I'm going to get him right. And I'm going to make sure he got his tools that he needs in his social toolbox in order to be able to speak and socialize on a daily basis like everybody else. So I'm not going to apologize for anything that I have to say about my personal experiences or anybody who was involved in any of my personal past experiences. Uh, but when I get up here, anytime you see my face on the camera, understand it took me about 2 to 4 hours to prep, even to get in front of a camera to even talk. It's prep time. It's prep time. It's prep time. I have to prep. I have to prep. I gotta walk the house. I gotta change shirts like 2 or 3 times. I gotta wash under my armpits because I done sweated. You know what I mean? I gotta get a tissue. I gotta pat my ears. My ears sweating. You know what I mean? Like I gotta smoke. I gotta calm down. I gotta talk before I actually get to what I'm talking. Like it's a whole workout before I can get on camera. It's a whole workout. So that's all I got for you guys today. I need to save some of my voice because I still have more talking to do later out in the real world. This is just an insight before I actually venture out in the world and start socializing in real time with people. This is just my insight. This is y'all's insight to what I have to prep for before I can actually socialize out in the real world. I just don't do it on camera. I'm just usually talking to myself here in my little, you know what I'm saying, here, like in my little corner. Um, but I sit and talk to myself. We have meetings, me, myself, and I. Okay, we have meetings because I need to be able to speak verbally out loud, socialize in the real world without getting made fun of, without having to get into an argument with somebody, or without subconsciously creating this beef that it's beef because we now have a misunderstanding. Um, hey, thanks for your follow. Um, thanks for the follow. Um, I'm actually talking a lot. I actually can't type in the chat. You can watch the playback though. But I don't stream any gameplay over here. It's only IRL over here. If you want the gaming channel though, I can plug you into that. But you can watch the playback of this right here. I was talking about this book right here, The Journey of Soul by Dr. Michael Newton. But you can listen to the playback for all of that. Yeah. But thanks for the follow there. But yeah, I just struggle a lot with speaking. So not every day is a good speaking day. Not every day I can socialize. Not every day I can express myself verbally. On days that I feel like I can talk somewhat clear, I do talk a lot. And I feel like I've already been talking a lot. So I gotta go. Thanks for hanging out. I gotta socialize and to be in the real world that I have to prep myself for. Uh, so stay tuned for the next stream, the next episode. We're going to be getting into chapter 1 of this book, Journey of Soul, by Dr. Michael Newton. It's called Death and Departure, chapter 1. And then I'll probably lean in some more sidebars on my personal experience with death in my family and, you know, burying everybody by 17 and all of that awesome stuff. So, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being patient with me as someone that struggles with speaking and stuttering and stuff. I am saying a lot, unfortunately. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. Come back later for more streams. Come back for the next podcast episode. I can't give you a date or a date when I'm gonna be able to speak clear again because I have no control over my stuttering. Um, but I'm gonna try to get it out in the next 2 days. 2 days. That's all I got for you guys. We out. Peace.